It's 3-1 in favor of Dragon Phoenix Gaming, guys. Clem must 2-0 to take his team to an ace match even, right? It's not just to win the series. He must 2-0 to take them to an ace. Last season, they beat Dragon Phoenix Gaming because Clem 2-0'd Dark, or 2-0'd Rogue and then beat Dark in the ace match. We'll see what the case is this time around. Bottom left-hand side from Team Liquid, this is Clem. Top right from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, how a red Zerg player. It is Dark. Oh, I feel like Clem's in a different place as usual. Is he in the kitchen? It's like Clem's in the kitchen. I see an oven behind him. Alright, well, Clem from the kitchen. Dark from his same old place, and we'll get this one underway. Big match again, Clem. It's tough because, again, if you take the first map and you're halfway there, well, then you've got to play on Dark's map pick, so the odds are really stacked against him here. We'll see if he can do it. Dark's been playing some great CVT as of late. I know recently they met in the ESL Open Cup NA Finals, and Dark 3-0'd, so take that into account however you wish. And otherwise, we are just getting this rolling and seeing what will happen on Glittering Ash's big map here. But one where you have that kind of, well, the chokes at least to help you out as the Terran player. It's not like Pride, which is A, even bigger, but B, also just very open a lot of the time and very difficult to then get any sort of good fights going for you as the Terran, so let's see what happens as Clem is just going to take his expansion and SCV moving out onto the map as well. Hey, what's up, friends? Thank you so much for the Prime for the 3 years. Hell yeah. For the 3-year resub. Thank you very much for that. And, yeah. The holiday tree is where I want to be. Thanks for all the content. Thank you so much for the 3-year resub on the Prime. Really, really appreciate it. We'll catch up on the tree after the game, of course, guys. For now, we just settle down and wait for this CVT to get a little bit more intense, a little bit more fun, and a little bit more exciting. Obviously, just early game right now. There's not much going on, bar scouting. But the Reaper is coming across the map, and that should at least give us some intrigue on the early stages. Let's see if Clem's Reaper can get some damage done. And already put Dark down a drone or so, even just a couple of lings. As he does for now, just downs with the lings. It was 6 lings from Dark, so a little bit of a respect move, really. Usually when you make 6 lings, what you're saying is like, hey, I think your Reaper control is very good, and so I'm just going to make more lings than usually needed, because I really just want to make sure I'm safe here and I don't have any trouble getting my creep tumor up, and that you don't deny too many of them. That's usually what 6 lings means, so I feel like a little bit of a respectful move there from Dark, almost saying like, hey, yeah, let's just be safe, let's not take any risks, let's just get set up nice and easily, and then go from there. Dark always open 6 lings. Well, then he's just respecting everybody he plays. He doesn't want to take the risk. Boom. Is he really? That's actually really interesting. I didn't know that specifically about Dark's style. That he just plays 6 lings a lot. But I feel like we can just respect the Terran players. Maybe just like, to be fair, it's like one of those things where you can a lot of the time say, well, it's a minor difference, right? But if Dark just feels like maybe he doesn't want to deal with the Reaper as much, just wants to make the 6 lings and ease off that early game a bit, then maybe that's just it. Maybe just, yeah, maybe it's not respect. Maybe he just feels it is the safer and better way to play. Maybe he doesn't feel it's worth the hassle. Yeah. I didn't realize he made 6 lings all the time. That's actually really interesting. Run to why. Couple of Hellions and Reaper will poke forward then, as we do see Banshee play, so Clem is playing safe just in case Dark plays Roaches. Of course, one of the things Dark does like to do that we're very aware of is playing to some early Roaches and to be aggressive with those, and sometimes not even just super aggressive those, sometimes just 4 Roaches and on from there, but, you know, if you don't have a response ready, they can still do a lot and just sway the game in Dark's favor. Dark is going to bypass the Roaches here this time, so he's going to actually play I believe this should take him into a Ling style, a Ling Bane style. So then the Banshee's obviously not as good defensively, but they can still be used to harass, and that's the power of the Banshees. it's never really a wrong decision to make a Banshee in ZVT. Like, maybe against, like, super quick 2-base lair, even still, right? I mean, there's still potential to keep them alive and to, you know, make some action happen with them, so... Yeah, Banshees are something which will pretty much always have a place in this matchup for the foreseeable future, and... Yeah, that's something that Clem will just do here and open up with to be absolutely safe and secure. Couple more barracks are finishing, and obviously Dark does have fast 1-1 upgrades, so his Evo chambers are early, and because Clem's going Banshees, his engineering base will be a little later as well. So that combination will just give Dark a little bit of an upgrade advantage to work with, so he'll have some timings here where maybe he will want to fight and Clem will not. That is worth keeping in mind, because sometimes that does sway the way in which games are going. It can make a difference in how an engagement kind of finishes out, or whether somebody really wants to commit to that fight or not. Especially early game, when you're talking about low unit counts as well, it can be very influential a lot of the time, so... See what happens. Obviously, the Banshees take advantage of the fact it's no early lair, and they just move around between bases where there's no detection, and they get some free shots. Unfortunately, that led to them walking into a Spore Crawler, which meant that in the end they actually took some free damage, and then that's obviously not the best situation for Clem. So that Spore resets, getting ready to protect the 4th base. That's what it was always initially meant to do, and like I say, it was just kind of acting as the interim detection between the 3rd and the 4th to make sure the Queens could move around without just being shot at for free. Just going to grab a Queen there and just going to go for another drone as well. Like I say, you're almost always going to find some damage with these Banshees. It really puts into perspective how much of a shame, though, it was to actually take some damage off the Spore, because then these Banshees would not be dead right now, and the other one would be much healthier. Yeah, it's actually crazy, because he could have then done so much more. So flying into that Spore was a pretty significant mistake from Clem. Really works against him as we're going to move forward here. These Marines will unload from the medevac to pick off an Overlord. Medevacs fly over the right-hand side, just going to be unloading onto the minerals and getting ready to push forward then, so waiting for a bit of a push in. I'm actually ahead in supply right now. I mean, okay, his upgrades aren't done just yet, and Dark has steamrolled ahead with 2-2. Marines load up from that pretty much instantly, not really wanting to stay involved in that situation, and understandably so. The drones just coming along, and just going to be seeing the few drones taking some hits. I'm just going to be seeing some Lings going to go through and work their way onto those rocks as well. It's just a few pickoffs right now, some bits and pieces. Marines are going to load back into medevacs again here, and we'll just continue on for a moment as we've got ourselves moving back down the bottom right. So again, a few drones, Clem, a bit of pressure initially. Just getting Sensor Tower set up. Dark is just going to go straight into that Hydralisk then as Clem has Drilling Claws about halfway done here. We get a Bandling and just pick up once again. Clem just, again, doing what Clem does best, which is keeping a lot of his units alive, just picking up a little bit here and there, putting on some light pressure, and just finding a lot out of very little cost. So far, so good. Obviously, Glitter and Ash's big map to be moving across all the time. And that's why it's important for stuff like drops to just kind of get a position on the map and then just go for it. That's a good Widow Mine shot because the Lings turned direction while in range. That's another good one because the Lings stopped in range. But Clem loses track of things on the right side, so you'll lose control of that drop. At least that is something which will come back in favor of Dark a little bit. As otherwise, everything there was kind of starting to go very bad. Those Widow Mine shots were really good for Clem. As 2-2 starts up from Clem, Dark is going to be finishing up his own 2-2 shortly. Plenty more Zerglings still on the way out, and 35 new Banelings morphing in. Looks like Dark wants to attack, so setting up in the middle of the map and looking to be aggressive himself now. Happy that he's turned around the attacks of Clem for a moment, giving him the freedom to perhaps actually commit into this, which he maybe hasn't felt like he had before. And if he goes with 2-2, he could force that fight with an upgrade lead, so that'd be pretty nice as some units pull back to deal with this drop. But now everything else is continuing forward. Clem doesn't have all of the Widow Mines burrowed up, but he does have tanks available. Remember, this is off creep as well, so he kind of just splits and attacks for a lot of it as well. Dog will continue through. More Widow Mines getting set up. It's important that these Widow Mines don't friendly fire onto the bio. I feel like he's holding that Widow Mine shot for an eternity. Finally, it goes through. Dark losing a lot of supply himself, but now he's going to start killing SCVs as Clem. Obviously, some of his supply is still across the map in the form of those 2 medevacs, so he needs to get that back home. And oh man, he's just going to lose 27 SCVs. The supplies were looking okay for Clem. He just ran out of units that were ready to go right then and there. And that obviously leads to losing pretty much all of your workers. Well, not all, but like a good chunk, 40% of your workers in the game or so. And obviously that is very expensive, and that's something which you can't really get away with. And it looks as though Clem is going to be in a whole bundle of trouble, because now you just can't keep up the momentum. And if you can't keep up the momentum on a large map like this, in my eyes, I think it starts to get out of control a lot for Dark, or you have to start playing into very late game. And Dark just might not let you go there, right? A lot of the time, he will just be aggressive and say, "Nope, we're not going to that stage of the game. Nuh-uh, not happening." And so we don't. Here's how it works a lot of the time. Some libs will try and do some damage as Clem going for the rebuild here. Tank shot does a little bit of damage. Having to split backwards. It was just a well-timed attack from Dark. He knew he was going to have the advantage on the 2-2, right? So you knew you had an upgrade lead, so you knew that this was going to be one of the times you could absolutely fight in this game. So you took the 2-2 lead, he ran with it, he went with it, and yeah, was able to just, like I said, get enough of a fight that led into, again, mostly just the fact he was able to lead into doing enough army damage was a very substantial part of that, right? So, some cool stuff from Dark, and Clem is trying to draw his way back into it, but down on 110 supply, obviously it's not really looking very hopeful. It's not looking like something that's going to continue to be okay for him given time. This does also look as though it's going to be over kind of soon as he comes across the map. I mean, he's just got very little compared to what Dark has. It's hard to really hype this one up much more. It's just going to be seeing how Banelin's coming through and Dark ready to go. And Clem doesn't even stick around. Types out GG. And that will be that for now as Dragon Phoenix Gaming get the win on the series. Big win for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Like I was saying before, they did not have the best of seasons so far. So big win for them to actually get another win on the season against a team that's also fighting for playoff position. Because in turn, by winning this, they don't just improve their own setup into the playoffs, they remove Liquid from the chance of being competitive into the playoffs as well. So that combination is pretty important. GG's. Sounds possible. Sounds reasonable. Sounds doable. What also sounds doable is this game 2 of Clem and Dark. Clem picks Curious Minds. Let's see if Curious Minds can be enough for him to win this one out. Get back in. I say get back in the series, but just save a bit of map score mostly for Liquid. Like I say, that's what this is mostly about right now. Maybe a bit of prestige as well. Take a map back off Dark and prove to people, hey, look, I can take maps off Dark. Dark just too much of a killer instinct and too much of a killer vibe in that first game, unfortunately for Clem. As now we end up in this game number 2. See what happens. Thank you so much, Birdman Warrior, as well. 2-month resub, 2 in a row as well. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I get you guys on the tree after the games. Don't go away if you want to see yourself confirmed on the tree. Appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much for the subs today. It's been a really, really good day. Cannot complain. I was down in the dumps a little bit on Monday, but last couple of hours has made up for it almost. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see what Clem wants to do here as we get this TvZ really underway and started. It's going to be seeing the Overlord kind of coming over the map, of course. It's going to be looking to scout a little bit here to begin with. Curious Minds has been the go-to for Terrans. It is open, but it's short, and that rush distance seems to be having more of an impact on the players picking the map than the actual outlay or overlay of the map. Layout of the map, outlay, layout. You know, it's always good when you say the word with the 2 syllables in the right order rather than the wrong way around. So yeah, short map, we'll see what comes of it. Sometimes, like I say, Dark likes to open roaches, and to me this is a great map to open roaches on. It's short, it's aggressive, so open roaches here from Dark, and then just kind of play from there, see how well my opponent does against the roaches initially. And like I say, you can kind of go from there on out. We've seen our Reaper moving across initially as well. As Dark will have 6 lings on the way. So he continues to make his 6 lings, as now we know he always does, apparently. I'm just going to be seeing now a couple lings just going to jump onto that Reaper. And, yeah, just going to be seeing the Reaper actually taking quite a lot of shots. That one ling went around the side trying to get like a little bit of a flank, a bit of, a bit of distance to kind of jump on it. That's some fun stuff as the hatchery goes down on the 3rd base. Refinery coming through on the main. Getting this up and running. Starport will drop down into the barracks. Will be placed. Another barracks. The barracks will be placed. Oh, another one. I'm just getting to a couple of Hellions. Pretty standard there. Dog just going to go Ling speed. He's not going to really do anything too wild. So yeah, Dog just going Ling speed and kind of playing on from there at the moment. And yeah, a little grenade just going to bop a couple Lings up into the sky as well. But pulls back just slightly. Queen going to turn around. Reaper takes some damage. Just going to be seeing the armory on the way in the back of that base as well. So just bringing that up as our Reaper goes off to the left. A couple of Hellions off to the right. And we continue on with all of this. So far, so good. Marines will nibble and kill the Overlord. Nice catch, as now we're going to see those Marines pulling back into the main base. Just going to be going in after that Ovi, so Ovi will be taking some shots, but actually just going to decide to lift the Marines up and go. Armory is going to be done in a sec, so Clem just going to straight up bring out the Hellbats here. It's got a Liberator coming through as well to follow this up on the back end of this, so that's where we're currently headed to, as our Hellions tries to surround this first Queen and gets it caught. That means the Hellbats will still be in range to actually pick up the kill on it after, so it does get away, gets a transfusion, but obviously it's a transfusion forced very quickly that might not have otherwise been forced. Now this medevac is getting hit from both sides by Queens. This medevac is going to die very quickly. It's not going to do any amount of healing, so great snipe down on the medevac. Hellbats straight through into this mineral line. As the Queen just continues to pull around, Hellbats will chase, the Queen will fall. Just going to be seeing these few Lings being picked away at, so a few more Lings continue to go down as well. Queen's still trying to fight. There's a Ling counterattack. It's going to get a few SCVs, maybe not like a super, ton of SCVs, but still a couple. Annoying, for sure. These Hellbats still around the main. Did Clem even kill anything with these Hellbats? Feels like I've seen nothing actually die as the Queens finally come through to clean up. A little bit of laziness from Dark at the end. No, it doesn't really matter. The Lib shows up. There's no spawn in this base, but there is still one Queen left over here. As a couple of drones do start going down finally at the end. What's that? Something has just picked off 4 drones, but we're not going to see it, so yeah, okay. So a little bit of damage being done, like I say. We are making some progress toward the very end here as Clem, but I would say overall this was a bit of a lackluster attack that just didn't really get done enough damage. It didn't do what you needed it to do, quite frankly. Hellbats, man. Hellbats. I'm just stuck on kind of figuring out what the hell, on what the hell Hellbats are meant to do sometime. It's a tough one. I stand there thinking like, well, what could you have done better about it against the Queens? Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, if the Queens get that medevac, especially, the Hellbats just start dying right away, and then that's really bad for you. Really bad for you. Hellions kind of poking around, trying to see what will happen, and just seeing ourselves, the Hellions into the center, just getting onto the edge of the creep spread here. Just looking to see if there's any opening here or there for, on the creep spread, or if there's any way to kind of move through to something, getting something done substantial, but honestly, so far seems like not really. No love in that regard up until now as we see a few Marines making their way across the map. Hey, Abby-Wan Kenobi, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 21-month resub. As Marines and Hellbats going to come through, so obviously has the Hellions still here as he rebuilt a few of them and didn't continue to reinforce across the map. I'm up on supply going into this, especially in army supply. With the Liberator help hold off the Queens, there might be a little bit of hope, in fact. I'm kind of liking this, actually. I don't mind the setup that he's got going for himself, so yeah, I kind of like it, but so far, Doc able to hold off. The Queen's just choking up that position and just slowing it down enough. I was going to be seeing Marines now turning around and going in towards a little bit of the creep spread. Clear out a little bit of that and make some progress from there. More of this creep will fall. Marines coming back around to the top and again just seeing ourselves a Marines gonna have to lift up once again. Ling Bane coming through, scaring everything away. And just seeing ourselves a bit of drop into the main though. I mean, still giving up the pressure here. Clem, we'll see if he can do enough. Dark on 71 drones. It's not the craziest work account out there, right? It's not, you know, it's not your 80+ drones, but it's honest work. Now, what is a problem if you're not on 80+ drones is obviously if you're starting to lose drones to these mines, but that was like the perfect split. These mines didn't find any of the kind of more clunked up drones, so unfortunately, no chunky shots on the Widow mines, and only 2 drones going down. Feels like a disappointment, honestly, from the Widow mine drop. Well handled by Dark, puts himself into a good position to, again, not take enough damage. Widow mine's pressing forwards and moving down this ramp, spreading out a little bit as well. Ling's Bane setting up. Oh, the first Widow mine shot is huge. As our Marines will continue down, and again, just seeing the Ling Bane thinking about what it will want to do here next. I mean, Dark's in a position where at some point you'll have to break back up this ramp. That shouldn't be impossible. Clem is keeping reinforcements at home at the moment, so it's not like Clem's entire army is here, so Dark should be able to overwhelm. Gotta be careful of that hatchery. The last thing you want to be doing is having that go down, as Widowmine's going to unburrow, reburrow, but that's going to be both of them going down before they can actually get their shots off after resetting, so that won't do too much. You're going to see the Marines still pushing in on the left-hand side and getting rid of a little bit more creep spread, so continue to work through that as well. Bane's still coming through, another Widowmine shot or so, still continuing to come on in. I just feel like Dog's doing a good job of just surviving, right? And the longer this goes, maybe the better this gets for him, just getting up to his upgrades, right? That's something he's behind on right now. Clem has those 2-2 upgrades while Dog does not, so it's definitely one thing to be looking for here at least. Now the Marine's going to come running around this bottom side. They will get on top of a bunch of this creep spread right away as well, clearing that out right away. So a lot of this creep starting to go down. As we turn back towards the bottom right, Infestation Pit is coming through. And just going to be seeing that in the back of the main. And a few more Marines just hanging out on the watchtower. Still waiting for the next moment here as a bio army of Clem moves around the right-hand side. This is a larger push, right? Almost maxed out. Obviously, upgrades are going to be even. He has some Dark immediately just saying, well, you're going up that way, I'm coming down this way. So counterattack it will be. Clem's going to pull back to deal with the counter, and it's pretty much the responsible decision. If you don't pull back to deal with the counterattack, it always feels like you lose out as the Terran player, basically. So he pulls back, and he cut off some of this army. Not quite. He doesn't want to expend another stim already, and now there's extra Banelings ready to go. It's Clem just scanning ahead, at least seeing what he's attacking into here as he wants to try and create a fight out of this. Supply blocked off after losing depots in the first wave of this counterattack, though. And so he's got some macro fixing to be done back at home. He also lost a factory, so losing out on some production there. As Dark is just working his way toward that hive tech, continuing to improve his position in this game. Just getting into a better and better setup right now. He's clearing out some more creep. Ling Bane going to come running forward with the Hydras as well. Tank's going to siege up. These tanks going to turn and fire everywhere. My goodness, it's a swarm of Zerg wrapping around, using whatever creep he had just to get on top of this army. And Clem's going to drop down significantly in supply. He is just going to type out GG. Well, he honestly had some good supply counts in parts of this game, upgrade leads, and it just didn't lead to anything. Dark gets the 2-0. And Liquid get decimated by Dragon Phoenix Gaming this week. 5-1, Killers there. That one